Today is Saturday, November 15th, 2025. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 49, Week 8.
Yeah, 2 shows a week. We do a recap on Wednesday nights right after the episode. And then come Saturday, it's this show, the listener feedback show, where we invite all the super fans to chime in with their observations, analysis, and hopefully some predictions to help with the fantasy league. I could desperately use some help. I am deep in the basement in the fantasy league now for the side challenge.
Oh, that's right, you are. I forgot.
I got a streak going for losing my safe points there. Yeah.
3 week,
5
points, Stacy.
Yes, 5 weeks in a row.
Yep.
5 out of 8. That's not the kind of run that I was looking for. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Any business we need to cover before we get started?
Can't think of a thing.
Hey, guess what? Pete's back.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete returning from Boston after a 2.5-week journey through the best vacation ever in Italy. So I'm going to let out a great big woo, a little bit with the time zone and the jet lag. But I've caught up a little bit, guys. I'm going to be super quick. Recently, I just saw MC went home. Then it was Nate before that as the first jury. He was kind of blindsided. And my homegirl Shannon, right when I went away, which that was not a shock. Kudos to Sage there. So a quick recap of I caught up a little bit with the episodes and saw the important stuff. I know you guys mentioned the small tribe thing, which I absolutely hate. Probes production, they got to get rid of that crap. Hopefully we don't see that in 50 and in future seasons, you know. But Shannon, you knew that was going to happen. Right now, guys, hats off to Sage. She's playing a solid game from what I'm seeing. And the other Sophie and Alec, the ones that were on the losing tribe in the beginning there, they're holding on. So I give them credit there. And Savannah getting a little bit of revenge, too. Rizzo looking solid. So we'll see, guys, as we get into the deep portion of the game. I don't know who's going to pull it out, you know. Then you got the other Sophie. Does she still have the idol? Because I'm catching up there, too. But I don't know. She's full of herself, I feel like, at times, too. But overall, it was a wonderful vacation. Glad to be back because I'm catching up there. And I saw the Nate blind side. That was pretty cool, too. That was probably the best episode so far last week. All right, guys. Well, I'm curious what everyone else has to say, guys. And I'm back, baby. Woo.
Whoa. Good to have you back, Pete.
I'm glad you had such a great vacation.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we got an email from Crystal in Santa Rosa, California.
Hello, Survivor family. Wow, this was a great episode. My favorite so far. So much fantastic strategy and drama. I love it when I don't know what is happening to anyone, and Week 8 delivered.
Awesome. I love the difference in that opinion from mine. That's great.
I bet Joanne isn't wondering about her USB anymore. We finally got to really see and hear her. I liked what I saw. My girl Sage is still making headway, and I'm really starting to appreciate her pattern of play. She is truly an observant player with good instincts. Steven is also continuing to be one of my favorite because he's both friendly, approachable, and smart. I'm worried about his challenge capability against Sophie S., though. I screamed at my TV when Rizzo didn't use his idol because that was just stupid, but ta-da, it worked. I do like that kid, and I won't be mad if he wins. Now, on to Savannah. I can't lie that I didn't feel some pangs of sympathy for her with the story about how she was treated at work. That sounded dreadful. But she just has no self awareness about her arrogance. How many times did she compliment herself in this episode? Come on. I am all for girl power confidence, but anyone who calls themselves hot and truly means it, so much it. Her win at immunity was impressive and totally needed, so good on her for that. I loved how Sage said she could be a mean girl too. Yes, you can. And she's the right blend of humble and snarky that I like. Jawan is still Jawaning, and I respect his gameplay, but something tells me his grudge-holding capability will steer him in the wrong direction. Let it go. Christina and the Idol was fun, but Alex showed no long-term alliance trust in his immediate confessional about how he will deal with that. Oh well, at least he's honest about how he's going to play. Sophie B seems to be just coasting now, but we will get more action soon with her knowledge is power advantage. It didn't really get any discussion this time around. Oh, and Nate, you look so cute with your hat coming into the jury box. Okay, that's it for now. Really looking forward to hearing how everyone else liked this episode and will be shocked if it didn't hit the mark for most.
Okay, brace for shock, Crystal. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
I liked her enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Northern California. I thought it was a great episode and like finally some drama and not really knowing at any turn what actually is going to happen. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start with the bad. I hate tiny tribe. I half expect next week it's going to be okay. So there's tribes of two, and we're going to Rochambeau to see who goes out. It's enough with the twist. Just let the players play. Let them be on one big tribe after the merge. I find it more interesting. I don't like the tiny tribes. That was the bad. The good, it was so fun to see the up and down dynamics of the castaways, especially Rizzo and Savannah, when they came back in the very, very beginning of the episode from the tribal council, and they had some major damage control to do. I mean, the previous week when Savannah was smiling and smiling as the votes were read, and then her face just fell when she realized their whole little alliance had been blindsided. That was kind of delicious. And seeing how hard it was for her to be on the bottom, it tugged the heartstrings a little bit. And I really felt like Steven, even some compassion for her. I don't understand, as somebody who is infertile because actually had to have reproductive organs removed in childhood, that leads to infertility. How does not getting a period lead to infertility? I was wondering if there was a moment where I'm like, okay, you've just sold that too hard. However, I did feel compassion for her because here's the thing. I feel like Sage is evolving into like a really mean player. A couple weeks back when with the eye rolls and the oh yes, I love you twos, because Shannon was so fake that it was delicious to watch Sage just lie to her and roll her eyes. And I feel like it's more mean-spirited with Savannah. I don't see all the things that she's so mad about. I feel like she just doesn't like her and she feels like she's in competition with her. And I mean, Savannah does walk around with an air about her, and maybe that's what drives other people crazy. But I don't know. I feel like the air is a little bit deserved because she's a really good player. She's very pretty and she's very, very smart. When she was going off in the boat, she got her immunity necklace and she's going off in the boat with her vote and everything. She looks like a freaking warrior princess. I am back in my rightful place. She's a great character on the show, and I feel like kind of bends Sage's nose in the wrong direction. And I think Sage is coming more from jealousy, which is not a good look on her. I don't think Savannah's jealous of Sage, but I definitely think Sage is jealous of Savannah. I don't know why Juwan and Sage caved so hard. I mean, they had Rizzo in their sights and they couldn't pull it off. All they had to do was convince him not to play his idol, and they did. And it's like the whole thing fell apart. So I don't think that little alliance is going to do as well as little Sophie, Soph, Savannah, and Rizzo. I think Soph, Savannah, and Rizzo are going to go further. I just think they're smarter. I have no idea who to vote for vote off. I'm managing my save points really well. I actually played pretty bold this week, Stacey. I had Juwan and Sage safe. Thank you guys for all that you do. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, if you want some more insight into where Sage was coming from and her feelings regarding Savannah, there's an extra scene. We include links to those usually every week, along with a couple of links to the interviews.
Yeah,
So,
at the getsfp.com.
yeah, wherever you should see the show notes, anywhere you get the podcast, they should be available there. Anyway, there's a link to some of those scenes, and there's a good discussion that happens between Sage and Savannah.
Yeah, I thought it explained a lot.
Yeah, it gives you a little more background on what's going on, at least at this stage. They're not really talking about how Savannah treated her previously when they were original Uli tribe.
Sage was telling Savannah how she felt and why, and she wasn't rolling eyes or doing any of that she did when she talked to Shannon.
Right. It was a genuine discussion. They were face to face. They weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was actually talking about Savannah making faces. And maybe she was, directed at Sage with some things she was saying about the chickens when she would say them and checking to see how it affected Sage.
Yeah. So go check that out.
Good stuff. Thanks, Rebecca. Next up, we got an email from Matt and Summer in East Tennessee. Hi, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor friends. While it was fun to watch Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie B doing damage control after last week's tribal, we weren't buying any of what was being said. It's hard to believe any of the castaways bought it either, but it does seem Sophie B may have convinced a few folks that she's willing to realign. We don't see that happening. What we can see is her stealing Christina's idol and using it to protect the trio. Yeah, that feels imminent, doesn't it? Speaking of buy-in, Matt and I both wanted to connect with Savannah's vulnerability when she shared her personal struggles. However, her edit this episode reminded us of the toddler whose tears dry up immediately when they get a new cookie after dropping theirs on the floor. What a great analogy. Her ability to go from despair back to despot so easily inspired a giant Sage eye roll from our couch. We are never going to be fans of Jeff's unexplainable obsession with constant small tribe swaps. Josh's comment on feedback a few weeks back of, couldn't we just have 12 tribes of one? was so perfect. That said, if we had to endure another random swap, the added twist this week left us satisfyingly frustrated. I like that in one of the in the other deleted scene where Steven comes in reading tree mail and he reads it like it's another drop your buffs, you're gonna get swapped moment. Some of them fell for it. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Savannah's addition to tribal with the vote advantage added a lot of strength to Rizzo's hand. That combined with his idol made it hard to see how someone other than Rizzo was going home. Regardless, the others could have tried something, anything. Worst case, a 3-2-1 vote may still have ended with MC going home, but could have eliminated Rizzo's idol and Savannah's extra vote. We predict the MC vote ends the bottoms-up alliance. How are Jawan and Sage going to explain it to Steven? Will Sage put the blame on Jawan? She did try and convince him to stick to the Rizzo vote. We were blindsided by last week's Nate vote and equally surprised by the MC vote this week. Our JSFL game has taken what can only be described as a big aqua dump these last 2 weeks. Yeah, talk to me when you've done it 5 weeks in a row. We're leaning toward those... We are leaning towards those without any clear, strong ties going out this week, which from our perspective is Sophie S. and Alec. But we may go bold and pick Jawan for vote out. Although Rizzo isn't getting much love from our fellow super fans, and even we can't decide if he's playing well or others are playing poorly. I definitely feel like it's the latter. We are sticking with him as our USB 24. All right, good for you. This episode continued to depart from the pre-merge predictability of the game, and overall a good episode in our opinion. Thanks everyone, and have a great rest of the week. Thank you, Matt and Summer. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Ryan.
Hello, Joanna and Stacy and other fans of Survivor. This is Ryan from Central Iowa. I thought it was an okay episode. I would say maybe like a 6 out of 10. I think that it just lacked some stuff, and there were some things that just I didn't like. Again, the team is just this game changes, and they didn't have to change, right? They didn't have to divide up these tribes, and it messes up the continuity of the game. I was listening to The Pod Has Spoken, and they were talking on that podcast about how they just don't like the dynamics of splitting the tribes like this when it gets to the merge, because you're messing up strategies of people in a game that they've been working on for a long time. And I agree with this. All right, a couple of my points here that I want to get to. They had the chance to get rid of Savannah and Rizzo again, 2 weeks in a row. I believe now, I don't like this, but I believe that Rizzo and Savannah are a top 7 lock, probably a top 5 lock because of what has gone down, because they made it through these last 2 votes. And again, it shows you that the threat of an idol is sometimes worse than an actual idol itself. Why do I think they make the top 7 or 5? Because Rizzo is dangerous. Why is he dangerous? He has complete control of his emotions. You watch him after Tribal Council, when they get back, he is completely under control, knows exactly what to say to Jawan and to the rest of the people that kind of went after him. He's calm and collected. And then he goes over and tells Savannah, we got to keep it calm. You can't freak out. You can't show this emotion. And so Rizzo has a feel for the game, probably better than anybody else in the game. Savannah, why is she dangerous? She's emotionally manipulative, and I'm not a fan of how she plays this game. She plays it with this, I'm on top, and I'm going to rule with an iron fist. I'm not even going to be your friends. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to treat you like trash. And then when she's on the bottom, she has this story about her life, and while it's a true story, and it's probably a story that is genuine on her part, you see the reaction of how she plays this game when she has what she feels like control again. She treats people not like somebody that's learned from their experiences. Bottom 3 Alliance had their chance 2 weeks in a row, didn't take it. Didn't like the splitting up of the tribes. Playing the best, Rizzo. Who do I think is getting voted out next? Probably Sophie S. Can the bottom 3 rebound? That's my question I'm going into this next week of. My new USB is Sage. I'm just going to go weird. Go weird. That's my person, Sage. I'm taking her. Go weird. And at the challenge, at the end of it, when Jeff is talking and the 2 tribes are sitting on the benches, Steven hands something to Christina small. What is it? What is it? That's all I got. I look forward to the rest of the podcast and what everybody else has to say. Thank you, Joanna and Stacy.
Hey, Ryan. We went back and looked at that, and it appears to be the windscreen off her microphone. They're mic'd up at the challenges, and it looked like one of those foam covers off of a small lav mic that they're wearing. That was my guess.
Yeah, it did kind of look like that.
Yeah. I don't know why they even bothered to show it. It was kind of odd. But anyway, that was our best take. I agree with you on Rizzo's ability to manage his emotions after a setback. That he's definitely doing well with that and sort of hitting the reset button so that he can continue on in the next portion of the game with the best frame of mind. Thanks, Ryan. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Tara.
Hi, Joanna and Stacy and Survivor friends. This is Tara in New York. I'm just sending a quick voice message this week, even though I don't really like how my voice sounds. But I wanted to say hello, and I don't have too much to say. I just watched the episode once with a friend of mine who likes to chatter a little bit. But I did have 2 things to talk about. One was Savannah's kind of sob story, if you will, that she talked to Steven about. And I want to thank Joanne because I was watching it and my first thought was, I bet you there's another side to that story. And then I immediately thought to myself, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible, cynical person. And I kind of felt bad. So when I heard the show you guys put out right after the recap, I felt much better because I wasn't alone and Joanne had the same thought I did. So thanks, Joanne. The other thing I was thinking about was, obviously, I think most of us hate this split tribal. Luckily, this time it panned out pretty well. We had a pretty good episode, but I think it would have been much more interesting if they had left it alone. If they were all together, I think it's very possible we could have had a similar outcome. I'm not as impressed with Savannah and Rizzo as I am unimpressed with the rest of them. I wonder if that whole group would have fell apart whether or not it was a small group or a big group. I think it would have been more interesting to see the whole group go and just watch the whole thing collapse. And somehow Savannah and Rizzo are managing to get through this in this situation. That's pretty much my thoughts. Like I said, I need to rewatch it. But other than that, I asked last week about keeping my USB. I ended up keeping Savannah as my USB simply because the only time I've ever had in JSFL a USB go past the merge was Caleb in 45, and he went out right after. So I said, geez, I've only had a chance for 24 points once, and it wasn't for long. So I figured I'd keep her for now and just see how it goes. Still not really rooting for her. Sage is still my girl, but I couldn't give up that 24 points. Anyway, I guess that's about it. I'm looking forward to hear what everybody else has to say. I still need to rewatch and think about next week, but I just wanted to say hello to everybody, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from you all. Have a good week, everyone.
Excellent.
Good job, Tara.
Yeah, your audio was awesome.
Yes, and I still don't like the sound of my voice. I don't
Oh,
like
you weren't saying you didn't like the sound of her voice. You meant you, similar to her, didn't like the sound of your own voice.
What did you think I meant?
That she said, I don't like the sound of my voice. And you said, me either.
Oh, I meant me. I don't like the sound
I
of my
know what you
voice.
meant, but
I never
it
have.
could come across a different way.
It's one of the first things I said, but I just thought, well, Stacy wants to do this, so I'll just ignore it. Nobody's going to listen anyway. So, but
I'm
we enjoyed it.
Pretty sure that you're going to get your wish. We're going to see that Hina tribe just completely fumble the second half of this game.
I think so too.
They are screaming towards that end. So it's going to be one of those where you're thinking, well, at least I'll be thinking, I don't know if it's because this person had superior gameplay or the other people were just really horrible, a la season 46, where all those people went home with idols in their pocket. Good stuff. Enjoyed that. Thanks, Tara. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
This episode had a lot of stuff going on. The aftermath of MC's idol play was interesting to see, and I'm happy to see Christina find the new one. I'm not sure if she will play it off well, though. I am hoping she does. I feel for Savannah's story being shut out from things. I do in some ways see where she is coming from with it. The immunity/reward challenge was a big part of what made this episode have a lot going on. However, I can see how some could complain about the splitting into groups for the last few challenges when we are at the merge part of the game with one half completely immune from getting voted out. It was a unique twist that the person who lasts the longest gets an advantage to go to tribal with the losers and listen to what's going on as well, as if they wanted to save or participate in the vote. For the challenge itself, with how much of a foothold there was, I do see myself struggling with it and how painful that could be. With the strategy talk, it did seem like Rizzo's time was up, and I don't understand why they didn't take a shot at him. He does have an idol, so there is that factor. But if they make him feel comfortable, they could have done something. Savannah having one does give her a big advantage given what I said above, and I like how the winning tribe did not see what the advantage was, but only seeing Savannah on a boat leaving after gaining said advantage, and tells Rizzo exactly what the advantage advantage is, which I do think ultimately helped them out. I do see them working well together. It has been a good while since we saw a live tribal, and this one was pretty good. It happened right when voting was about to begin. I don't know all of what went down there, but the result being MC going was to me just an all right choice, but nothing too out there. All right, thanks, Jack. Up next, we have a call from Anderson.
Hey, Joanne and Stacey, this is Anderson from North Carolina calling. My feedback is boring. It's starting to get better, though. I lost a 6 point this week, my first since last season. And Stacey, I heard that you have 5 straight save point losses in a row. Don't worry. Back in season 47 when I lost the side challenge, I went from Stall getting voted out, I lost the same point there, all the way through the finale. Don't worry. It happens to all of us. I gotta make this short. My thoughts on the episode, I watched up till Savannah arrived. I thought it was a really good episode. And yeah, that's basically it. I didn't get to watch next time on or anything. I have a sneaking suspicion it will be one of the Sophies, not Alex. Alright, that's all. Thanks for everything y'all do. Until next week. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Anderson. Good job. Next up, we got a call from David.
If anybody has an advantage or an idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Sophie turns toward Rizzo. Jawan turns toward Rizzo. MC looks at Rizzo. Savannah looks at Rizzo. All right, I'll now read the vote. And I am screaming at the TV. Hey, Joanne and Stacey, it's David in Pittsburgh. I want to talk about, well, first of all, Rizzo, great. I wish I had put him as my second USB. I decided to go with Sophie S. But I want to say, I really don't like Jawan. And tracking his voting history, the first 4 votes, his tribe never went to tribal council. And then when they did, he voted out Jason, even though he said they were bros together. And then Shannon, well, at least he had a reason to do that because she was coming for him. But then he turned on Nate, and finally he flipped on MC, even though she's the one that told him about Sophie's plan. So he's responsible for taking out 2 Uli, Shannon and Nate, and 1 Hina, MC. And I'm wondering, why does Rizzo trust him? Or is he just acting like he's trusting him? But I'm really concerned, and I really was concerned at that tribal council. They kept showing him kind of grimacing, and I kept thinking, oh my gosh, play it. Well, of course, we saw that MC played her idol the last time, and she didn't need to. So I admire the way he played this game. Like Jason, I didn't think MC played very strategically, and she ended up turning on her original Hina member, Sophie. I just liked their story so much that both Jason and MC were alternates. And now I'm wondering, what would have happened if the other players who were kicked out ended up playing? I would love to know what they were like and what they did to finally be eliminated. But they would have had to have been better players than MC and Jason. And now I'm wondering if they'll realize that out of the last vote, Jeff only read 4 votes, and he said that's enough. Well, if 6 people have voted, he would have had to read 1 more just in case there'd be a tie. So I'm wondering if anybody will figure out that Savannah did not play a vote. And I have a quick question for everyone. Does anyone know what dates are for the season 50? Because I'm trying to plan a trip, a 2-week trip, and I don't want it to cut off any of those days. And I just wish I'd get a clue of when the next season is going to start. Anyway, I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Thanks, David. I don't think I've seen anything on that. That doesn't ring a bell. I don't even think they've officially announced the finale date for 49. We hadn't seen anything, right?
I haven't seen it, but I'm counting on December 17th.
Yeah.
That's usually 13 weeks is usually
Right.
what it is. So I'm pretty sure that's it because the following week would be Christmas. So
Yeah, the alternative would be they would have a double elimination and then it would be sooner.
Well, they did push it right to Christmas, literally like a day or two before Christmas, the finale, remember? Because a lot of the people brought the kids and they were going to just stay there and go to Disney. And
I don't remember which one that was, but I remember it being all Christmassy when we were down there.
well, that was every year at Christmas time because they do that the whole month. Anyway,
Sorry, David, we don't know, but we'll keep looking, see if we can find something for you. Next up, we got an email from Merek in New York. Hi, Joanna and Stacy. I did not enjoy this week's episode as I found myself getting angrier and angrier as the episode progressed.
there you go, Crystal.
First off, half the tribe is safe from tribal council, totally wiped out my weekly picks. I hate when they throw curveballs like that at us that we have no way to predict, because I am the reason Survivor exists, right? You'd think I would already know that this is not true from my lack of JSFL trophies. I guess it was only a matter of time before the production team chose to mislead us after being so predictable week after week. I'm not a fan of Savannah. She gives off classic bully vibes, but I'm thinking she is now Jeff's favorite cast member. Uh-oh, she might be in trouble. Let's do a challenge that completely favors her, and let's give her an advantage if she wins, and let's make it a huge advantage too. Supposedly it can't work that way, but it does feel that way sometimes. I am putting in my prediction now that she will be one of the two that makes it on to Survivor 50. It was kind of hard to accept the pity party she had earlier in the episode, and then the complete 180 after her advantage. I deserve this. I'm so pretty. Here I come. I am a force of nature. Not the swiftest card in the deck to be so in your face about it, not realizing that other tribe members might remember her attitude and seek to give it back to her. But I guess being Jeff's favorite gives her a shield. Savannah aside, then they suddenly all look to be forming up to take out my USB Sophie S. I know I'm biased with my USB, but look at the difference in gameplay. Sophie S did not panic or hold a pity party. First she was determined and showed an iron will trying to beat Savannah, but body type was against her in the end. Then she calmly and logically tried to come up with a strategy for tribal, but kept suffering setbacks, but still remained calm and pivoted. Ultimately, she was just, it is what it is, let's just get on with the vote. I am glad she survived. I'm not sure what the future brings, as right now it looks like the anti-Savannah, Sophie B and Rizzo League is completely, well, out of its league. But let's hope they can pull it together when the tribe reforms next week. As always, I look forward to hearing the other feedback, even from the Savannah fans. Are there any? You bet. And thanks for all you do. Thank you, Merek. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and I thought that this episode was fine. It was fine. I was fairly annoyed throughout the whole thing. Of course, I don't love the split tribal, when we just split them up back into small groups after we've already merged. Jeff said in the last episode, the game just started. Pre-merge doesn't matter. We're merged now. But Jeff, you just made it pre-merge again. You took the merge away. Do you realize that, buddy? Savannah. Let's talk about Savannah. I have been okay with Savannah. I've been on the Savannah train. I liked her snarky confessionals. I liked her gameplay. I thought she was good. However, in this episode, she reveals this tragic backstory, real trauma, I was empathetic listening to her. I was like, all right, I'll hear her out. Yeah, this is heavy. This is deep. And then, so what's the realization here? Are you going to go to Jawan and Sage and be like, hey, I'm sorry that I made you feel this way. I felt that way before. No, that's not what happened. No, instead it's me. Oh, my life sucks. Oh, I'm on the bottom. Oh, me. After going through something like that, she didn't look at the other end of it and realize that she put those two in that same position. I can't fathom that. It just tells me how self-centered she is. And I can't support that. I'm sure she's lovely as a person outside the island, but I'm off the Savannah bandwagon after this episode. I thought she came off terrible here. Awful. The whole episode. She was just high on her own supply, and it was obnoxious. It's just not for me. Not for me, man. I do think Rizzo played this episode very well, but it was handed to him with this group's twist. Yeah. If it's a full merge vote, played out the exact same way. Savannah wins immunity. I don't think Rizzo gets his way here like he did in this episode. So how much can I give Rizzo credit? If that alliance that was formed in the last episode that had majority stuck together, it's probably just Rizzo going. Somehow they figure out a way to get him out because he seems so willing to not play that idol. I don't know. It was a good episode, but I just hate this twist in the season. This one is always a dud. We always lose somebody that's good, I feel, and I loved MC. I thought she was a great presence on this season, and to lose her here, it's a bummer. Other bit of news, I did switch my USB. I no longer have Juwan as my USB. Does that mean I think I'm off the Juwan train? No, I love Juwan. I think he's amazing. He fumbled a little bit this episode, but I don't care. I just like the guy. And I'll support the guy. But I did switch to Sophie B, all right? Because to me, she has the story. Other than Savannah and Rizzo. And I don't want one of them to win. It just doesn't seem right. But Sophie B, dude, the damage control she did after that vote was amazing. I was like, oh, that was pretty much all she got in this episode. Because her tribe didn't go to tribal. So it is what it is. But it was all good stuff. She was just honest with people. I was like, yeah. Good job, Sophie. Yeah. I don't know. This one was a bit of a dud. But yeah, that's all I got. I will see you all next time.
All right. Thanks, Parker. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Shahin.
Hi, Joe and Stacey and Told Us 5 fans. Hope everyone's well and safe. Wasn't able to put anything in last week, but if I had to talk about this very briefly, I thought it was a good episode. Probably the best of the season so far, but probably not a great episode overall, and that's just because of the bar that's been set for this season. Going into the episode, though, I just thought that there was just so many blunders. The challenge, I thought, was a big blunder for me because I'm getting sick and tired of challenges that clearly have a large advantage. I understand that there's going to be some sort of advantage given to people with any challenge just being given to players when it comes to individual immunity. But in this instance, I feel like when it clearly benefits people that have smaller feet or smaller width to their actual feet, and I think that's just proportional to your height in the end. Why are we persisting with this? Unless there's been some sort of modification to be able to adjust it to your actual contestants' width, like to each tribe member's feet width, then why are we still continuing with this? Why are we giving such large advantages to people? Funny enough, Sophie did such a good job. And this is what makes me wonder. I like to reflect on things like a what-if situation. Because clearly, someone like Juwan, let's quickly talk about Juwan. Parker giving us stick last week, because I think there's a bunch of us that have probably given him a lot of stick in Juwan, and Parker aptly gave us the boot up the butt there. And look, I'm going to defend myself in this situation because I feel like this is an episode where Juwan really feels like a flash in the pan type player, because last week he can give you some really good moments, and then this week he really bungles it. There's a saying that George Bush, funny, we're talking about politics just before the end of the episode that you guys just did. There's that saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And then George Bush modified it to fool me once, shame on you, fool me, can't get fooled again. And I feel like you have to play like that. If you've been fooled once and Rizzo has not used his idol and you have this golden opportunity to be able to then get him out, even if Savannah comes and does what she does and enters your little split group, that should have never impacted the decision to begin with. So there's been a massive bungling for them to just resort to the default move, which was really odd in Tribal as well, where it's like, oh, it's just between, Sophie just goes, it's between me and MC, and it's just like, oh, the cat's out the bag now. Great, wonderful. And I just think if it was the other group of 5, I don't think they would have hesitated. If Sophie had won, I don't think they would have hesitated in getting rid of Savannah. I think that decision would have been a lot easier because that group of 5 probably were a better settled 5. So I think this is an indictment on the rest of this group. Yes. I don't think the 3 are as brilliant as what it looks like. Yes, they're probably running the game, but I think the rest of this tribe, this merged tribe, are just really, except for Steven. I think Steven's a good player. I just think the rest are garbage. And I think this is where the season lies, where we've got poor players. And yeah, we're just going to have to meander towards the end because I just don't have a good feeling about it anymore. I don't think I've had a good feeling since the first few weeks. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for all you do. Cheers, bye.
Take Shahin. I agree. It feels like a variation on 46 at this point. Seems like it's stacking up for that kind of a end game. Next up, we got an email from Addie from Arizona.
Hello again. I finally returned after a couple of weeks of going silent, but I'm coming back with the shocking news that I've gotten all 3 of the mergatory votes correct so far.
All right, good on you.
I was really startled by this because when I voted for Shannon, I actually just forgot to change my picks from the previous week. And then when I marked out Nate and MC, I was just making some very poorly educated guesses. But hey, it's better to be lucky than to be good. Regardless, I felt like Savannah was the star of the episode. Maybe not the favorite, but definitely was the star.
That's a good way to put that.
Yeah. In fact, almost every note that I took about the episode was about Savannah. First, there was that drama in camp with her where the producers were building up some sort of fight with all the people ganging up on her, and then they shifted it to a swan song for Savannah. I do feel bad for her work situation and all, but then right after she won that immunity challenge and the extra vote, she was being so rude and was almost taunting the other group who had to go to tribal council with her, which is literally giving them a reason to hate her. I really like how Savannah plays, but if she doesn't want people to be mean to her, she should try not being mean to them in the first place. And that's a principal kindergarten rule, by the way. I think I like this week's challenge, despite the fact that they switched back into tribes again. It was really tense there at the end, and when the music kicked in, with only Savannah and Sophie S. left, I thought there was going to be some sort of jump scare. I also was very pleased that half of the castaways got a good meal, most importantly. One last thing that I noticed was when Sophie S. was talking with Jawan at the old Uli camp, she was eating a big green fruit of some sort. At first, I thought it was a coconut, but then she bit into it like it was an apple. So I'm really not sure.
There's definitely some papaya trees.
Papaya or mango?
Yeah.
Papaya. Okay, anyway, I thought that this was a really good episode, and I'm looking forward to hearing what other people have to say. All right, thanks, Addie. Welcome back. Next up, we have a call from Joe.
This week's feedback is short because, frankly, I'm frustrated. I absolutely hate the breaking up of the tribe into 2 groups, especially when only one of the groups faces elimination. This is artificial, random, and it undermines the strategic integrity of the game. As we inch closer to the final tribal council, the outcome should be determined by the player's skill, not the luck of the draw. Hello, Joanne and Stacy, and greetings to all Survivor fans. This is Joe from Huntersville. When Jeff announced the split, one group gets fed, the other goes to tribal, I was fine with the reward part. But the elimination twist, that's where I drew the line. I actually stopped watching. If it had been a schoolyard pick, I could have accepted it. But it was pure chance, stripping away the strategic gameplay that makes Survivor compelling. I am really sad to see MC go. It would have been just as upsetting if it had been Sophie S. Why do the producers think manipulating the game like this makes it more watchable? Honestly, next week they might as well just run a Monte Carlo simulation and hand someone the $1 million. Till next time, this is Joe signing off.
Thanks, Joe. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor superfans. This is Justin from Michigan. So I did really enjoy this episode, even though I don't love the idea of splitting into groups after a merge. I did like the twist that Savannah was able to vote at their tribal council with immunity, and she did have the option to bank her vote rather than vote. So I did like that aspect of it. There was a lot going on here. I think Sage and Sophie, they had a lot of misplays. So first we have Sophie, who says, I'm okay being the decoy vote, which is bold, but that's fine. But then telling MC that she's going to put the vote on Jawan, first off, it's smart to do that, but don't tell anybody about it. If Jawan doesn't figure that out himself, just do it without telling anybody, because then once MC decides she wants to tell Juwan, it blows up that plan. In her exit press, MC said the reason she did that is she didn't want a second black person to go. I mean, I don't love that. I think just play the game. Don't worry about the number of black people, white people, women, men, gay people. I mean, you don't have to put labels on people. They're all just Survivor players, in my opinion. So that's all I'll say about that part. So that was a misplay by Sophie. So she really, I had her as my vote off. So at that point, I was kind of hoping it would go her way. And then Sage, when she was kind of upset with Juwan about not sticking with Rizzo to at least flush the idol, I think she should have just stuck with it. Maybe once they decide they're going to switch to MC, maybe Sage goes and tells MC, hey, I'm going to vote Rizzo. Vote with me. We'll at least have 2 on Rizzo. And then maybe she could, if she can't convince Juwan, maybe she could convince Sophie. Worst case scenario, it at least possibly flushes Rizzo's idol if it gets back to him that somebody's voting for him and possibly multiple people. Instead, he now survives his second tribal council with his idol in his pocket. And with only 9 left now, and Savannah's extra vote, that minority now all of a sudden has a sliver of hope and a sliver of power. If Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie can pull in 1 more, plus Savannah's extra vote, they can at least deadlock a vote. So that's something to think about going forward. And I think I'm going to have Juwan out. Haven't thought through the mental gymnastics of how that's exactly going to work, but that's just the feeling I have. So I have him out for next week and looking forward to what everyone else has to say.
Excellent. Thanks, Justin. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, I needed Dramamine to keep up with Savannah's violent mood swings. I was sympathetic to her tale of being bullied, and then she started talking about revenge, knives, and being owed good things, basically acting like a mean girl again. I try to keep in mind that the editors make characters and are selective in what they show, but sheesh. Jeff has said that they don't cast for villains, but boy did she sound and act like one. It was also too convenient that the challenge and reward were exactly what she and Rizzo needed to stay in the game. The stand on small ledges challenge is usually the last stage of a larger challenge, favors lighter players, and follows 2 stages that demand strength, dexterity, and speed, which favor larger competitors. Just saying. My other observations, I think Jeff has 6 fingers on one hand, 5 on the other, and that's why he's so fond of these tribe sizes. I'm confused. Why do the people in the majority feel they need to do so much damage control? Savannah reminds me of a squirrel that once got trapped in our bird feeder. At first, it happily gorged itself, stealing seed. When it felt threatened and couldn't leave, it became frantic. After we opened the feeder to give it an exit and backed away, it went right back to eating. It's funny how everyone who fell from the top to the bottom started playing a version of Sandra's game. It's too bad Marvel producer Nate was voted out. He'd be able to tell us if Savannah's tale of her job woes was a touching backstory or a supervillain origin story. Rizzo said that being blindsided wasn't ideal. The Titanic hitting the iceberg wasn't either. Christina found the idol in a tree. Good thing it wasn't in a bird's nest. With Nate gone, Rizzo's moves can be more fluid. Having Dad around often stifles Son's moves that way. Avoid taking mass transit in Fiji. People keep getting thrown under buses. Jawan's worst nightmare is Savannah the Savage. Mine is giving a speech in my underwear in front of a classroom full of scary clowns. Savannah says victims aren't victims if they have a knife and do all the stabbing. Mirror much? The immunity challenge was overstuffed and twist heavy. Did Jeff OD on espresso that day? Which came first, General So, the chicken, or Savannah, the bad egg? MC played her idol to see who was on her side. Without the idol, the answer was nobody. I wonder if Savannah's old TV station crew had a big meeting with HR on Thursday morning. Soph reciting Hail Marys was her Hail Mary play to stay in the challenge. Doe Machina number 1. The challenge favored the lightest person when Savannah needed saving. Rizzo said finishing in 4th or 10th made no difference to him. ChatGPT says he's off by $50,000. Savannah arriving in the boat at Uli Beach reminded me of Sarah and Marquesas being carried in feeling like Cleopatra.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good callback, huh?
Yeah,
Because
that
we definitely
nailed
remembered it.
Totally.
Yeah. Doe Machina number 2, saved by the gods. That's essentially what that means. The target's ally shows up unannounced, can vote, and throws off the numbers. Was that the quietest, least chaotic live tribal ever? Yeah, that was definitely different. And of course, they didn't give us anything being said that was useful. Savannah calls herself a hot Grim Reaper, but to me, she's more like a hot mess. How does Rizzo still have an idol and a spot in the game? I'm bum puzzled that MC didn't play her shot in the dark. Supposedly she knew it was her going. Yeah, she said that in the interviews. Well, that tells you everything you need to know about her game. From going from the inability to read a map and find where the ring of keys is to how she bungled all that up and her rationale behind it.
Well, you said she only started watching Survivor with season 47.
47, yeah, she's reeks of recruit. So, yeah, she was in way over her head, basically. I think it's the summary in the end. Okay, Savannah's TV character is the love child of Parvati Shallow and Russell Hantz. Social and attractive, but narcissistic with some psychopathic tendencies. At episodes, that's got a little bite to it. At episode's end, MC had to find alternate accommodations at Ponderosa. I should have emphasized alternate more because she was an alternate. I think that's what he meant with the quotes. Jawan should stop saying the season is a horror movie, or he and Christina will join Nate and MC on the jury next. I see what you're going for there. Okay, next time Rizzo, Soph, and Savannah are a powerful trio. Jawan strains in the leg press challenge. People are obsessed with Savannah, and this is Rizzo's game. I guess he didn't skip leg day at the gym. Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Stay safe, everybody. Thanks, Josh. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, Survivor friends. Jeremiah here, coming to you from a unusually very wet Southern California, where we got big storms rolling through this weekend. And this feedback will be a first for me when it comes to the Survivor Fan Podcast feedback. I am giving you my thoughts without actually watching the episode. The only thing I have done is listen to your beautiful recap. And you might be saying, why are you doing that? Well, Wednesday night, we didn't get to watch the show live here on the Pacific timeline. And Thursday had things going on, so we couldn't watch it then. So we are hoping to watch it tonight. But unfortunately, I did get spoiled on who went home. So I figured, you know what? I already know a lot about the episode. I'm just going to listen to what my brilliant friends had to say about the episode, which I thought was interesting. It was a different side of things to be able to just hear what people think about an episode you haven't even watched yet. Now, some things I knew about outside of course, knowing that MC went home. I knew about the tribe getting separated into two teams and that half of them were going to be immune. So I already knew about that stuff. And like you all, I'm very annoyed by this. I appreciate them always trying to keep things interesting for the players and keep us guessing as viewers. But in the second half, once the merge happens, can't we just leave them alone and let them play their game? But, whatever. I know they're going to continue to do whatever they think is best for the show. And listen, it must be working because here we are all these years later and people are still watching the show and it's still very popular. So unfortunately, since I didn't really see the episode myself, I don't have really any great insights to add to what you all have already shared from your recap. It does sound like, though, that maybe the tides are now turning back towards Savannah and Rizzo. Rizzo, who must have nerves of steel, by the way, to continue to hold on to that idol. Crazy that no one went after him. That was stupid. I'm not surprised to hear this because I kind of felt just the way things were going this season that it would lean back towards them. Now, granted, they don't have the numbers yet that we know of, but I think that's maybe the direction we're going, which is great news for my 24-point USB Sophie B because she's right there in the middle of everything. I think she's in good position. Bad news for the other Sophie, because that's probably who I'm going to pick to go home next week, unless someone can talk me out of it. But anyway, there you go. That is my thoughts for this episode. If I have anything more to share, I'll be sure to do that on our Facebook group. If you guys have not joined, come on in. The party's great there. All right, well, that's it for me. You all take care. Until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
All right. We enjoyed your unique approach to this episode, Jeremiah. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California, and here are my thoughts on this incredibly lame episode of Survivor 49. Just so I don't forget, Sophie B is still my USB. I kept her. And I'm looking forward to continuing to support her to the end. This episode was nice until the immunity/reward challenge, and then it just went downhill to disaster from there. I was excited to see the Doorway of Doom challenge. That's what I think I'm going to call this challenge from now on. But before we get to the challenge, the Jeff show needs a segment. It was a short one, so I'm thankful for that. But then he drops the bomb on us. They are making tiny tribes again. What a bummer. So Savannah wins immunity. Of course she does, because she needs it. Half the players stupidly have immunity. And Savannah gets the most twisty and convoluted advantage in Survivor history. She gets to go to the other camp, participate in tribal council, pretend like she's going to vote with them when she doesn't really have to, and keep that vote as an extra vote moving forward. How in the name of Big Brother is this possible on Survivor? Isn't it enough that the winning tiny tribe all get immunity? Isn't it enough that they don't have to go to tribal council? Isn't it reward enough that they also win a food reward? Nope. We're going to pile on, letting Savannah go mess with everybody's heads, pretend she's going to vote, and then bank that extra vote for later. What a lame twist. No one can get any traction in the game. They think that it keeps the game exciting, but it doesn't keep the game exciting. It makes watching this game exasperating. No one can build relationships. It's episode 8, and I'm still watching people try to build relationships with each other from scratch because they keep finding themselves in tiny tribes. This week's vote was based on an illusion. It was just a mind game. It was just so artificial. And so later, when we got to the Jeff show, tribal council, no, I'm joking, it was totally the Jeff show. He has the pleasure of explaining this completely contrived twist, and then everyone says over and over again how they have no allies and they're forced to reinvent themselves. I'm so tired of this. MC definitely spoke my frustration. She said they had a tribe swap, and then another tribe swap, and then another tribe swap, and now a tribe shakeup. And throughout all of this, why? Somebody remind me, why is Rizzo so untouchable? I felt bad for Sage in this episode. She wanted so bad to make the big move, but she did not have solid numbers. Nobody is brave enough. Rizzo was a good target. He has the hubris of keeping that idol in his pocket. And again, they did not take the swing. On an unrelated to the Jeff show player comment, it is funny how Savannah's attitude changes when she's safe. Not the best look. I'll just end this on a positive note. I love Survivor, and I even love to hate Survivor, so there's that. It gave me a lot to talk about this week. Oh my gosh, Savannah was like the HOH in Big Brother, giving the illusion of power but not being able to vote. Well, she could have voted, but chose not to vote. She didn't vote. She's the HOH. Can't wait to hear everyone else's thoughts. Till next week.
What does that stand for again?
What?
The HOH in Big Brother?
Head of household.
Ah, okay. So there's a equivalency there. That's what Jen was talking about, huh?
Yep.
Good stuff. I enjoyed that, Jen. Yeah, it was a challenging, frustrating episode for me, too. Have you had any other thoughts on it as we got to see these different perspectives?
No, you know me. There was I just enjoy having Survivor.
Yeah, just leave it at that.
It's like, okay, well, didn't like this, didn't like that, but I did like this. So I always try to pick out some things that I enjoyed and just go with the flow with the others.
Like we heard several people say in the feedback this week, it seems like it's tilting back towards the original Uli, the Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie B. And with Savannah's extra vote, that's got them at 4. They only need to pull one person.
Oh, wait. They're going to take control this week.
Yes.
Sophie B's going to steal somebody's idol.
Yeah, okay.
Savannah's got an extra vote, so that's 2. Sophie B will be 3. Rizzo will be 4.
Right.
And Sophie S is going to join them.
All right. And then they've got the majority, huh?
Where else is she going to go?
Yeah.
The other guys all wanted her out. Savannah told them. Yeah. And so where else is she going to go? That's majority right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. No, wait. That's an extra vote, not a person. It'll be a tie, though. Who they going to pull over?
No, there's only
Alex?
9 left.
I know.
That'll be
but
5.
No, honey. 5 votes, but one
Right.
of them isn't a person, so there's still 5 other people.
I don't know what you're saying at all.
Alex, Jawan, Christina, Sage, and Stephen
Right.
make 5.
Oh, so you're saying they got to get
Rizzo
one more.
won, Sophie S, Sophie B,
Right.
and Savannah has 2.
Right.
So then it's tie 5-5.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So
I got it now.
Okay, so I was wrong. They need to.
They
need to pull somebody else over.
Uh-huh.
Possibly Alec.
Think Sophie B will reach out and he'll be able to read the tea leaves. Could be.
Maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a possibility. Or Rizzo could continue working Jawan. Though I don't know why he would trust him, but he might. So, but somehow I feel like they're gonna make a move and it's gonna work.
Fully shift back in their favor.
Now,
Yeah.
I did let go of Sophie S. I never have before, and I decided to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
But I still kind of wish I had her. I switched over to Stephen, but I don't know that either one of them really have a chance to.
If things flip back like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on how they react to the
So,
shift
I don't know.
in the balance of power.
I'm excited to find out what's going to happen because I really think something is going to happen to shake things up. I'm looking forward to the next tribal council. Do not disappoint me.
Hey,
people.
speaking of USBs, you were going to give an update on the shift of the USBs and the JSFL.
Well, I am not surprised to see that on the top of the leaderboard is Sophie B.
Yeah, big shift.
Yep, 54 people now have Sophie B, up from 24.
So she more than
Savannah
doubled,
is next with 43, up from 37. Sophie S has 37 people, down from 50. MC had 30, up from 20. Sorry, guys. Sage has 28, up from 24. Alex has 24, up from 17. Stephen has 20, up from 17. Rizzo has 10, down from 13.
Oh, interesting.
Jawan, 7, down from 10. And Christina, 2, down from 4. So, interesting, huh?
Yeah, yep.
Savannah stayed up there, so was it Merek saying, does anybody like Savannah? She's in second,
Yeah.
Merek.
Overall in the JSFL USB choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that her social game. Sage isn't the only one that's noticed those things about Savannah.
yeah.
So how's she gonna rescue her social game? It just doesn't seem to be there. Much like what we learned about Sophie S. having no connections. MC was able to build all these connections, and so that made her a bigger threat than Sophie S. And so Sophie S. got a pass. She got to stay because she's got a crappy social game.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Sophie S. has nowhere really to go, and I think they are going to court that. And I think that she's going to go with them. And Sophie B. and Rizzo don't care about Savannah's social game. She's their alliance. They've proven they can work well together.
No, I just mentioned that in the scheme of can she win?
Oh, can she win?
Yeah, Savannah doesn't have, I don't think she's got the social game to win.
It depends on who's up against.
Yeah, if it's Sophie S., then yeah, maybe she does win because clearly Sophie S. had no social game.
Well, I don't know.
Doubtful
I think
at this point that she could recover either.
I think people liked her okay. They just don't feel like they can beat her in the
Even
individual
in
challenge.
MC's exit interview, she talked about all the connections and all the time and effort she'd put into building connections with the different people. And that was the difference that it caused her to be voted out over Sophie S. because Sophie S. just didn't have social connections. She had the original Uli bond and she hadn't put any work in to go beyond that. Even then, she was a candidate along with Christina to be voted out first.
Are you talking about Sophie S?
If Hina had to go. Yeah.
Original Uli tribe.
No, I meant Hina.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you said Uli.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, who's he talking about? Okay. That makes more sense. Original Hina tribe.
Yeah, Sophie S. was a candidate to be voted out first. I mean, fortunately, they won.
Yeah. Well, true, but I still like her.
For her,
I like
fortunately
her.
for her.
I like her. I like her game. I like her. Just she's fierce. I like her.
She's a competitor, but it doesn't sound like she has a social game. So you did good to switch away from her.
I did. Well, we'll see.
We want to say a big thank you to everybody who took the time to send in their thoughts and analysis and predictions. We were all over the place, different views, a lot of variability this week. Good stuff. We loved hearing from you and what you thought about the episode. Also want to say a big thanks to Kim for her donation. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Kim. That really helps out with the operational costs here at the podcast.
And if you play in JSFL, remember to make your pick for one person voted out and 4 people who you think will still be in the game at the end of the episode.
Yep, we're excited. Looking forward to the next one. We'll be back with our recap on Wednesday.
All right. Have a good one.